Okay, this is a very dangerous video to be making right now because it could be outdated as soon as I click that public button on YouTube. Anyways, we have no choice but to go out there and talk about this as it comes out because earlier this morning we saw a tweet from Arthur Staple that woke the entire hockey world up. This tweet has 950,000 views from, when was this? About 4.5 hours ago at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Staple, of course, does stuff for the New York Rangers beat. If it's not a trade for Jacob Trouba, I believe he may be on waivers later today. There's a possibility that a team will have a claim ready to go, as with Barclay Goodrow back in June. Either way, it looks like Jacob Trouba's New York Ranger tenure is over. And the top reply from Malcolm, Canucks fan and Canucks podcaster, goes out there and says, hey, that's a hell of a way to treat a captain. Okay, we're not going to dive too much into that. Andrew Schaefer has a funny reply over here. I am secretly hoping that Trouba gets put on waivers, nobody claims him, and then he refuses to report to Hartford until they trade him, and then the Rangers can't find a trade partner. That would be great public drama. Honestly, I'm going to say this, if Trouba ends up clearing waivers, he might actually be easier to trade than where he is at right now, but that's neither here nor there. Let's go into some other tweets that were posted this morning in regards to Trouba and his situation, starting with this one from Pierre Lebrun. He quote-tweeted the Arthur Staple conversation. This one did get 1 million views. Hearing that the Rangers have multiple deals on the table involving Trouba, but they all need his consent to waive his modified no trade. The sense is Trouba was going to sleep on it last night and perhaps decide today. As Arthur Staple alludes here, there's a potential threat of waivers at play here if Trouba does not waive for one of these trades. Stay tuned. Josh Anderson's pounding of Trouba in front of MSG faithful was the proverbial last nail. Red Wings, please. Enjoy the Hartford Wolfpack if you want to play games, Jake. It's lovely this time of year, and when I say lovely, I mean it's freezing and it's miserable. Jacob Trouba, by the way, if we head over to his profile, before we dive into some of the other tweets, we have to say this. Jacob Trouba is making $8 million a year against the cap until 2025-2026. Is he good? No. Is he justifying of that contract? No. He's like kind of bottom tier caliber at this point. So obviously there's going to be some desire to move on from Trouba, even though he is the captain of the New York Rangers. Let's dive into some other tweets here. Friedman said this at 7 a.m. waking up in the morning. Okay, Jacob Trouba. I'm hearing the Rangers do have several options, but Trouba can block with his partial no trade. The Rangers have indicated they will waive him if he does not accept a trade. One team to believe in here is Columbus. This is absolute hardball, but there is a precedent. In November of 2005, Todd Marchand refused to waive his no-trade from Columbus to Anaheim as part of the Sergei Fedorov deal. So, the Blue Jackets waived him, and the Ducks made the claim to complete the transaction. We will see what the day brings. Any chance he could end up with HC Dynamo Moscow, X-Tech says? Okay, X-Tech, I love you, buddy. That's kind of funny, I will say. Here's another tweet. Emily Kaplan went out there and said this. Among the teams I've heard have talked to the Rangers about Trouba include Detroit, Ottawa, Buffalo, and Columbus. We'll see what happens today, but Trouba has known for some time this was a strong possibility. Crazy to see it go down this way. Now, we can go into those teams. We can talk about Detroit, Ottawa, Buffalo, Columbus. Elliot Friedman already mentioned Columbus as well. Imagine Columbus trading away David Jiricek because they don't have any room to give him on the roster, only to grab Jacob Trouba a few days later. That's kind of ridiculous in my opinion. I mean, for sure you would prioritize the development of a guy like David Jiricek over acquiring a 30-year-old overpaid guy like Trouba. No? Anyways, we had ourselves some other tweets. This is what Vince Mercogliano of the New York Rangers beat goes out there and says too. This was from 7:55 a.m. this morning. The Trouba situation is shaping up like this. The Rangers have tried to line up trade destinations and let him have a say on where he goes. If he doesn't agree to any of those options, the threat is they'll put him on waivers at 2 p.m., at which point any team can claim him. and as Elliotte Friedman indicated earlier this morning, maybe there's some sort of a trade made by some of these other teams, and maybe the Jacob Trouba waiver claim is the cherry on top. Of course, that would have to be primarily executed through external means. You would have to collude with other GMs into saying, hey, we're making this trade, Jacob Trouba's going on waivers, don't claim him because he's going to this particular team and you probably shouldn't get involved here. Finally, we had ourselves Darren Dreger about 2 hours ago go out there and said this: Columbus, Detroit, and Anaheim are among the crop of teams circling around Trouba and the Rangers. It's complicated. There is nothing going on between the Rangers and the Ottawa Senators. Zilch. Now, the reason Darren Dreger said this part of this comment is because of a very particular report that was given out by Larry Brooks. And this was really, really big. Had a lot of people going out there and talk and take a look at this. Larry Brooks, there's more to come. The Blue Jackets, the Rangers, they're targeting Brady Tkachuk in trade talks in what would be a whopper. So, yeah, haha, nice, Larry Brooks. Oh, the Rangers, they're targeting Brady Tkachuk, and then Darren Dreger says there's nothing going on between the Rangers and the Senators. Now, to be fair, Emily Kaplan did also put Ottawa's name in there as a potential Jacob Trouba destination, but either way, this was talked about, this was disputed. I'd say Darren Dreger is a little bit higher up in the hierarchy of NHL leaking news other than Larry Brooks and I'd say Emily Kaplan, so Dreg's going out there and saying there's nothing between the Rangers and the Sens. Of course, if there is a trade, if Brady Tkachuk gets sent over to New York like in an hour or so, then this entire video is obsolete and we'll go out there and make another one. There also was a post made on the R Hockey subreddit that I wanted to go out there and look at. What's so bad about Jacob Trouba? Obviously, with all the news and the buzz that he would get waived. I know his contract sucks, but is there not a way to make him useful? There's plenty of vets on expiring deals that look bad right now. The good thing is he's tall, so when he elbows someone in the head, you can say it's just because he's tall. He's not on an expiring deal. He's on a team that hopes to be a contender, making $8 million while playing like a bottom pair defenseman. Oh yeah, that's horrible value. Yeah, cut his cap hit in half and he's a totally fine player to have. Exactly, if he was a $4 million guy, there wouldn't be as much noise. It also doesn't help that this team is supposed to be a cup contender and has lost 6 of its last 7 games, and they've been badly outplayed for most of the season. He's being paid $8 million, and he's barely serviceable as a bottom pair defenseman on our team. Is he still crushing people, or is that part of his game now gone too? He's hardly done it this year, if at all. Ever since he had a kid and the whole debacle over the summer, he has been noticeably less physical. Now, this, of course, bleeds into everything we had been seeing about him, how Jacob Trouba has been kept out of the lineup for roster management reasons. Even if we go back to our hockey, let's go over to the new posts here and take a look at this stuff. So, yeah, Jacob Trouba not on waivers, officially announced by Elliotte Friedman. That is really, really interesting. We are going to see what happens because there will be some sort of a trade, I guess. I don't know. Screw it, play him tonight. Just act like today never happened. If we're going to be chaotic, might as well go all out. Then you had yourselves this made here by Pierre LeBrun. The Rangers are still trying to get a Trouba trade done. Hearing the Ducks are still among the teams in trade conversations, but I'm hearing the Blue Jackets are out. Okay, yeah, this is a really, really, really big story. We will continue to make videos about this as the day goes on, but right now, seems like these are the teams. Anaheim is in there. We'll say Detroit is in there. Maybe Ottawa is in there, maybe not. Maybe Columbus, maybe not. Who really knows? But we already heard that Jacob Trouba is not going to suit up today for the New York Rangers, so seems like that's going to be the situation, right? Roster management, we might see ourselves a trade sometime soon. It's going to come really quickly here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this entire Jacob Trouba situation. Okay, Brendan Lemieux's on waivers. Nice. Great. But either way, thoughts in the comment section about Jacob Trouba. We'll make more videos as the day goes on, but I hope you enjoyed this video. 9 and bye.